I do not feel bad for Shannon Sharpe. Actually, nail him to the wall. Men like Shannon Sharpe go after women whose frontal lobe have yet to develop, and then when they prove to you that they are still children, it's how dare she try to manipulate me? How dare she try to get money from me? Why do you think she was fucking with your old ass? No, really. Why would a 19-year-old go after a man in his 50s who she also knows is only here for a good time? Y'all keep doing this. Y'all keep doing it. It keeps happening because y'all have spent y'all years mistreating women. And then because women have dealt with shit their entire life, you're like, that's baggage. No, that's called common sense. Because a woman will no longer allow you to play with her once a woman gets to the point where she's like, wait a minute. That's when y'all want to be like, oh, she got baggage. She got baggage. She got boundaries.
Listen, fam. I think that we talking about two separate issues. With regard to Shannon Sharpe, I don't believe that anybody should be demonized when they're the victim. Let's be very, very clear. Because more than one thing can be true at the same time. Nobody should be demonized when they are the victim. And Shannon Sharpe, in this case, especially with regard to a person that is always, and Tony Busby, that is seemingly always trying to shake down celebrities. We seen what happened with Jay-Z. They had the same sentiment when it came to Jay-Z, trying to tie him to Diddy. And this is the reason why guys a lot of times divest themselves against the culture and the community, because two things can be true at the same time. 100% I am in agreement that I do not think it's conducive, and I am not rocking with, never been interested in, nor do I support the whole idea of dating super young. All right? But we got laws for a reason, and more importantly, it doesn't negate the fact that he's being shook down and being manipulated by an attorney who, by the way, seems as though they had already set a lot of this up in order to trap him so that they can get money out of him. Now, you can't be so bitter as a person that you can't observe the facts and make or come to a conclusion that, yo, hold on, this is not right. They should be held accountable, so on and so forth. But these women have the autonomy to be able to bust it down for a real one, open up an OF, go and slut it out, and all of this stuff. And so, if these young girls, and again, I could never talk to a young girl ever in my life, especially 10, 20 years my junior. However, if these young girls, because y'all refuse to hold them accountable, y'all uphold slut culture, y'all tell them to go and find their way, but then, and again, Shannon didn't do anything illegal, so you can't say nail him to the wall because you don't agree with his preferences. I don't agree with his preferences either, but I don't believe that he should be nailed to the wall. So that means that he deserved to lose all of his money. That means that he deserves to get shook down. And so now what you see happening is these older women cannot wait to say, see, y'all should have been dealing with us, a person with boundaries, now that we, no. Two things can be true at the same time. Nope, I'm not necessarily rocking out with the fact that, and this is my personal preference and opinion, rocking out with the fact that a person is talking to 30 years their junior. Not my thing, I'm not rocking with, but that's my personal preference and opinion. What you see them doing is they are using this as a trampoline to have a conversation about whether or not they agree with his preferences. And because they are not getting picked, because they feel some type of way about it, because they can't snag a man that is super successful because they have bad attitudes and there's other things inherently wrong with them, they're using this as a scapegoat or an opportunity to continue to bash men and say, nail them to the wall, when we don't do that for women. We don't do that to women. We don't do that at women. We are now holding women accountable for a lot of the things that they're doing, and they will go so far as to support this degenerate shakedown in order to make a come to a conclusion that men need to be held accountable for something. They can't wait, and I knew it was going to come out. They always show their true colors eventually.
And y'all don't want women with boundaries, with self-respect.
Boundaries.
Y'all want little girls who is going to do whatever y'all want her to do for a little bit of change. You want that phone telling that girl that you're going to choke the shit out of her and that she going to like it.
And do I need to even go through the text messages to see? Come on, man. Stop, bro. I'm going to let her get her shit off, and I'm always going to link back to the content creator in the description because I always like to give content creators credit, regardless of whether I agree with it or not. So that'll be down in the description. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Also, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
Now, she trying to get over on you, and you mad. She's in it for money.
Nobody should be trying to get over on nobody. Nobody should be taking advantage of nobody. That's just where I stand on it.
In it for the money. Where y'all problem is, y'all think y'all are bigger than the program. Y'all get so full of yourself that you genuinely think this child wants you for real. Men like that scare me. Because what does a 56-year-old and a 19-year-old have in common? Actually, she's 20 now and he's 56 now. So a 55-year-old.
Nope, that's not how it goes. I believe that she was 20 when she met him. And I just want to make sure that we get the facts straight. And I think that their relationship is going on for 2 years or something like that. So, anyways, let's continue.
And a 19-year-old have in common. What? What do you have to talk about? What life experiences do y'all have to discuss? None. And anytime, and I know men are gonna find their way in their comments like, it's legal. If you have to say it's legal as a way to defend your dating preferences, you're a predator. You're a predator. That's like us saying slavery was bad and y'all be like, well, it was legal. That doesn't make it okay.
Well, no, let's not use slavery. Let's use Aisha Howard getting pregnant as almost a 40-year-old woman by Anthony Edwards that's not even in his mid 20s. His frontal lobe is not fully developed, but we hold him accountable for that. Let's also use Drea, right, who is pregnant by Jalen Green. And obviously, she's, I believe, above the age of 40 years old. And he's not even, I believe, off of his rookie contract. Not even 21 years old yet. I'm not even sure that he's old enough to drink. That's not predator behavior, right? I'm just amazed at the level of hypocrisy. They will bring it all the way back to slavery. And again, I'm not into it, so I don't necessarily rock with it, but I want it to be consistent across the board. These same women will then absolve women from predatory behavior while at the same time going at Shannon Sharpe, who, in my opinion, is the victim in this instance. It's bothersome.
It used to be legal to beat your wife. It used to be legal to rape your wife. Does that make it okay? I mean, it's legal. Because y'all love to be, she legal, she legal, she legal, she legal. And then you know what I always find so funny? When men get to, when people ask them like, well, if you had a 19-year-old daughter and a man in his 50s wanted to date her, would you be okay with that? Well,
They like to conflate issues in order to divert away from the real issue that's at hand. But they want us to make sure that we believe all women, and they want us to make sure that we continue to hold y'all down. But this is one of the reasons why men are completely walking away from the conversation and the table from women like this, that think like this, that like to turn the victim into a person that should be nailed to the wall. That's just my personal opinion. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me know.